Hey guys, welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3 coverage here, and we're ready to get ourselves into the second game of the second series of the day, Vega Squadron versus Team Empire. And the draft so far, well, as we can see, Io was picked up first, and then as soon as Io was picked, I had Andy sitting next to me going,
I was chanting it.
Undying, a little chant for the Gyro Undying coming out, and he was bang on. He predicted it straight up, and I guess that's what we're expecting from Team Empire. Normally, Tiny Io would be like, good game, but when Empire have got the Gyro Undying, it's a little bit of a different story for me.
Well, it's an interesting matchup because Wisp Tiny is normally seen in a dual lane scenario. So if it's a dual lane mid, I feel like even with Undying being in a dual lane, he can be in a dual lane and still be strong enough to pressure, and he could also be in a tri lane and also be strong enough to pressure, because Vega ran it in the last game and they had Queen Undying, which I think Empire are probably one of the teams that understand that hero the most, like 8mother was saying. Okay. Like they just realize what's good against it, what's bad against it, how to pick around it, when to pick it. And already after seeing the Wisp, they warrant the lanes are strong enough or weak enough from Vega to just pick it straight up. Because even if it's like Undying versus the Tiny Wisp plus one other hero, that lane will probably still farm because how like little the Wisp will do in that lane. And if for whatever reason you decide to go like defensive tri lane, it's going to be even worse because you're going to have to pick another hero now that doesn't match up poorly against Undying if you're Vega. Because if you have two, then you're going to be in for some early 5-man Dota, and that's a problem. Like, Wisp doesn't want a 5-man early. No, not at all, no. And indeed, with this fourth ban now from Vega, the bans so far, like the ban on Centaur, I said recently about a week ago when Vega picked up Tiny Eye last, they did actually combo it with a Centaur, and that was in 6.83, so if they were going to do it then, there's every reason now to pick it up again in 6.84, and indeed, we were talking about Centaur, a very strong hero, but a hero that hasn't really been at the front of attention for 6.84. I mean, as much as people talk about how amazing the Aghanims is, what is there about this hero that doesn't make it kind of top tier ban and pick stage yet? I think it's one of those heroes that you pick when you need kind of like a get out button or a get in button. Like if you want to just be able to initiate with your team, or you want to be able to run away from something like a Tombstone, for example. Yeah. In this case, which is probably why Empire decided to ban it. He's not the greatest laner, but his ultimate is so situationally powerful that a lot of teams will prioritize it as like a third or fourth ban, as we've seen Empire do here, just because it's great at giving the enemy team a get out of jail free card when Empire always want to force the engagement really hard. Like I said, you need to fight us here right now or you're going to lose an objective. Like that's a style that they love to play. Yes. If they can't get their hands on the Beastmaster, which in this game they had to ban it because they weren't first pick, they even let Wisp through of all the heroes. So maybe it was a bait. Maybe they thought, oh yeah, we'll just let Wisp through so we can get Gyro Undying together. Because then you have the combo that you want. That's like, for them, that's the dream. So I'm feeling they're fairly confident with how they started things off.
Lich is going to be picked up again. One of those heroes that, I mean, especially once the level 6 comes online with the Chain Frost. Io Tiny, it's going to be a hard game for them. I mean, as strong as the combination is, and you've got to give credit to Vega, Tiny Io is something that from the past, and like many teams, they do well with it. But against Team Empire with these heroes, what do you reckon, Andy?
Oh, it's tough because the laning phase, Empire I already drastically favor. Like having a Lich, he's a lane-winning hero. I mean, that's pretty much his sole purpose.
Lich Undying already, that's just
I mean, that's
GG lanes.
That's what I'm saying, is like it's so hard to lane against this particular type. I mean, I guess you could go kind of the same route and try to like pick Batrider like 8mother was saying. It's a really nice hero for being able to stop aggression by just getting one pick. Like, I think they're going to build this lineup more around like trying to split up and farm and like try to go for picks rather than directly engaging into Empire, because that style of draft can still function if their laning phase goes poorly. They still have some method of recovery. You know, you relocate, you look for your back ganks, and then you try to delay the game. And their high ground defense will also be good because Bat being able to lasso people in can mean just a free kill, and then the push is over. So there are ways for them to deal with it. However, if Empire snowballed too hard, then you're going to start having some problems. I wouldn't even be surprised to see them like go back for like their Lycan pick like they did before, because they could run any number of lanes, for example. Like they could put the Gyro like mid or even top lane with the Undying, and then they could just put Lycan up against the Tiny Wisp with a Lich and then pick a safe laner who matches up well against Bat. Like their lanes would still be very good. Oh my god, they want to win their lanes so bad. I actually haven't seen OD in a very long time.
Okay, well, the man himself, OD. Not the best of win rates. Elite Revolution obviously 6.83.
Yeah, but it's resolution OD.
That's true. That's true. He's pretty damn good, old resolution. And 6.84 new patch OD with the Ags. It's now potentially viable.
It's clowny.
It is clowny.
It is super clowny. The question is, does the banish go through before the damage is dealt?
You know, I've been actually asking this question. We've always been talking about it. I don't think
because I haven't actually seen anybody get it yet, and I haven't made a test lobby to test it.
I mean, in none of your games in ranked, has anyone ever picked up OD and built Axe?
No one's ever picked OD.
No.
Just in general. But I would imagine if the banish goes off before the ulti, that means that it does a ton more damage. Like, you're talking, if you get like 3 or 4 banishes out, like plus the int multiplier and the aghanims in itself, it's like, it's gonna hurt bad. It's gonna hurt real bad. I don't know what you're doing.
I was
you're
looking to Shane there.
You're like sign languaging.
He's not gonna know, is he?
Shane doesn't play anything but Invoker.
He's not gonna,
He doesn't know how this game works.
Shane doesn't have a clue. Just...
I don't know why we're taking shots at Shane. He can't even defend himself.
I was hoping he'd have an... Shane, just... do you mean you're not telling me? Oh, because he doesn't know.
That's okay.
It's all right.
We don't need it.
We don't need it. We don't need it at all. Anyway, so final ban from the side of Team Empire. They're going to get rid of the Lina. You know, with the Bane picked up, there is definitely the setup potential. So, yeah, and Lina's still as strong as she was in 6.83, arguably. I mean, just a little Aghanim Scepter nerf to the range. It's not something that I feel like Lina players are going to care about at all, really. I mean, you're still going to pick up the Ags for the BKB.
It's a nerf, but if you get Yules, you're dead. That's pretty much how the hero works.
Yeah. I mean, the increased cost to Yules, but I don't know. Lina's got a lot of mana to play.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. She's an it hero.
Yeah.
She doesn't suffer from that really at all. The Bane pick for me is, I think it's actually pretty good. Mainly because, okay, you go in, you Nightmare something like the OD or the Lich, for example, and they have to toggle Nightmare off of him, obviously, and that means the Lich pretty much does nothing for the duration of the team fight, which can still be good. And plus, it's good for helping you balance out your lanes a bit. Because right now, I still feel like Empire have really, really strong lanes. Like Lich, OD, Undying, these are all like lane-dominating heroes in one way or another. Like OD is going to beat you on CS, Lich is going to just hard deny 25% of your experience in gold just by existing, right? That's pretty awful. Undying can pressure really hard, and I think that's part of the reason why they also picked Bane, just to be able to like Nightmare the Undying if they end up matching in that way. But I'm not sure if Vega are going to go with a dual lane mid strategy or not, because that would mean Batrider off lane, Tiny Wisp mid, and then Bane safe lane with whatever core they decide to go with. What do you pick into this as a position 1? That's my question. Like, do you just pick something? No, you couldn't pick AM, because then you would just get pushed down.
They have run the Ursa before.
Against this?
Not against this, but
team pick.
Black Hole Man, Enigma, he's going to be the final pick, and it's Empire, it's a confident draft.
It's always balanced with them too. Like, they have good push, their late game is pretty good, they got a hard carry gyro, position 2 OD, their lanes are strong. It's another solid draft.
Final pick from Vega. Come on. What are we going to have? Something that's going to work nicely with the Bane. I think Ursa. But, you know...
I think Ursa would have an absolute nightmare playing against this. Like Frost Armor?
Okay, Magnus. Okay, right.
So they're going to play more around the Empower and the Tiny, which I think is... It's an okay play. I don't think that Vega are actually looking to fight at all this game. Like, sure, if they go high ground, like Empire pushing into you got RP, you got like Wisp Tiny Relocate, you got Batrider ulti, you got Bane ulti, you got some disables. You can definitely fight. It's not really... The problem is Enigma push plus the AoE that their team has, like Chain Frost, Gyro ulti, Tombstone, Enigma on top of that. Killing Tombstone for Vega is actually still very hard. Like, they didn't pick any other heroes besides Tiny who actually do well against Tombstone at all.
Actual Tombstone itself, that's...
Yeah, so... And that's going to be Lich armored as well. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough.
Well, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the game that Empire dropped today. For the first time, of course, 3 victories so far today in the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. This is the 4th match of the day for the side of Team Empire, 2nd for the side of Team Vega in this 2-game series. But ladies and gentlemen, let's get ourselves into the game and familiarized with the heroes and the players on them. On the side of Vega, it's going to be Mag on your Batrider, Solo on the Aya. He's going to be obviously pairing up with no one on the Tiny. 9 Pasha will be on what I imagine to be the safe lane Magnus, unless no one decides to swap the roles up and goes to the safe lane himself on the Tiny. But finally, Seema the Slayer on the Bane. Draskell, what are we seeing from the Radiant?
All right, so we're going to have Yvonne that's playing on the Enigma towards the middle lane. We're going to have Resolution handling OD. Gonna always want to fly, play on Lich. Aloha Dance, gonna be playing on Undying, and Silent, now playing on Gyro. And by the way, I wanted to mention, before we get things kicked off, there's no Immortal on this Magnus Bible Thump. Please, Compendium, Pasha.
Come on, Pasha. Oh, that's poor Pasha there. But anyway, they're grouping up here, just seeing if the side of Empire want to contest for the bottom bounty rune. It's not going to be the case. They're looking for the top one themselves. So in terms of lanes, Empire looking to run this one aggressively, and I imagine that they're gonna send someone down to the bottom, aren't they? Yeah, Lich is on his way down, and so's the Undying. So maybe now that they've realized Tiny and IO are down here, they're going to leave the Gyro to solo lane up against the Batrider?
It's not too bad. Closing distance with Bat is pretty tricky against Gyro, because he doesn't need to be facing you to hit Rocket Barrage, and now there's no cast point either. So you can very easily overcommit and take too much damage and drop. I think maybe the Bat eventually wins the lane, but not by a huge margin. I think it also depends pretty heavily on player skill. But yeah, the Undying, Lich, and Enigma standing nearby. This lane from Vega is not going to do much. It's pretty hard to lane against this.
So this is it's a safe lane farming Enigma.
It's been done before, actually. Like a year or two ago, one of the Chinese teams actually did this. And just had like the Enigma in lane, and it's super hard to fight against just because of how much damage conversions do.
Dance coming in here with the decays, and already Seam of the Slayer taking so much damage here. And we'll be able to get the Nightmare onto Undying, but that's just because the Trialing there has got to back themselves up. I mean, what is the benefit? I mean, why have the Enigma down here and the Gyro up top? Why not the other way around?
Well, I think up top against the Batrider, it's actually much harder for the Enigma to fight up against him, just because he can kill the conversions fairly easy. Like, he can just Firefly over them or whatever, and you're never really going to pressure the lane. But they might just eventually transition him into the jungle, in all honesty. Like, when they feel confident about the lane, Avon might just retreat to the jungle and farm instead. And then just leave the Lich and the Undying to do their thing. Because if you keep the lane out of the tower, it's still pretty risky to try to dive against Undying, Tombstone, and Decay when you have like these really squishy supports like Solo. I mean, look at that. He just walks up, no fear, just punch, punch.
It's looking a little bit grim in terms of lanes here for Vega, but well, maybe they'll be able to pull something out the bag with their lineup. Obviously with the Tiny IO, very, very strong and impactful, and again with the Magnus and the Bat, if they get decent timings on the blink,
they're already switching lanes. They realize it. They're like, yep, this lane is going terrible. We're not going to be able to get anything out of this. So lane switch. Empire already getting the better of the early game here, and the Magnus versus the OD mid. Obviously going to be favored for the OD, even more so once he starts getting some levels. They rescaled how Astral Imprisonment works some time ago, so now it's like max level 13 intelligence for 50 seconds, which is pretty substantial. That's why I was curious if the Aghanims actually applied the debuff beforehand in top lane.
Indeed, both the Batrider and the IO going in. Silent trying to return the damage with the Rocket Barrage. They're going to be TPing from a low hard dance, and with the Tombstone thrown down, won't be able to keep the Gyro alive. He does fall. Mag gets Solo 20 HP, but Solo himself is able to tear him up. The Zombie's not able to finish off either the IO or the Bat. And now no one might be able to find a kill. The Salve was popped by Undying, but cancelled straight away. But all in all, very nice attempt, and they get away with first blood there, Vega.
Kill on the board, and the TP ended up working out. So the lane rotation actually ended up yielding Vega a kill, something that you don't normally see. Like, they weren't rotating for a kill, they were just rotating because they thought the bottom lane was going bad for them, which was fair. And they're just like, we get a free kill out of it, so good for Vega, getting themselves on the board, and they're not really hitting many creeps. It's always a concern at the start of the game. Yeah,
indeed. If we look at the CS, as you're saying, there's a big lead at the moment overall for the side of the Radiant mid lane. Now, obviously, as expected, but 17 CS and 15 denies against this Magnus. I mean, that must be quite a bit of a level disadvantage here. Level 5 at the moment on OD, and yeah, level 4. There's already a level difference, 3.5 minutes in between these two heroes.
I mean, yeah, 17 denies. What do you really do? There was a game a couple of years ago where I think it was somebody was playing Nyx mid against an OD, and it was like 35 and like 30 denies to 0 CS on the Nyx. Like, he didn't even hit one creep.
Oh, OD, he's coming in. He wants to try and get himself the 4-minute rune, and well, he will be able to. No, he won't. Solo did manage to nag that for himself, and then comes the Tombstone. Lich is there as well. They're going to chase down Solo. One more punch will fly through and do it. They find themselves a kill there onto the IO, punishing him for taking that regen rune away from the Outworld Devourer.
Yeah, but he got the rune, so it's worth. You just hashtag worth in all chat every time you get the rune. Maybe if it was a bounty, it would have been worth it, but Yeah, I mean, Resolution had no fear. He knew his team was coming. He just walked straight in. He's like, yep, just banish the high threat hero. Wisp can't really do anything on his own.
Bottom lane here with the Nightmare onto Ivan. Solo and Seema the Slayer coming in for the slow, and they will be able to find themselves a pick off there. Bane taking the kill onto Enigma.
It's just musical lanes, though. Like, they have to commit so much by rotating all these heroes around to find these kills that sometimes just having a good static laning phase, even if you die a handful of times, you're still going to come out ahead because you're not really emphasizing like movement much. You just go to lane, you farm, you get your levels. The enemy team's like wasting a lot of time walking around.
We still always want to fly headed into the dire jungle and starting to block up the camps. He's blocked one of them up there, the medium one in the center. In the mid lane, the rotation from Io and Bane, but OD's very aware of it, keeps himself back between the tier 1 and the tier 2, and isn't going to be in a position to get himself caught out. And all whilst this is happening, you know, you've got this Gyro still top of the CS, 30 for 14 at the moment. Silent being having a fantastic time on this off lane. And mid lane, the Tombstone's going to get dropped. Aloha does with the wraparound, but 9 Pasha with the skewer is going to be able to get himself out of harm's way. And I mean, just that one little ward there from the side of Empire into the dire jungle, it's kind of going to screw with the Batrider's blink timing if he has to head back to the jungle and out of lane.
Not being able to double stack camps is pretty awful. Like, that camp is the most important one because you can take like both medium camps simultaneously, or you can even take all 3 if you're good about it. And that obviously makes it really hard for you.
Mid lane, we're going to see another wraparound attempt here from Seema and Solo. Looking for the Lich as well. OD's head to the top rooms, found himself an illusion. Top lane as well, there's a bit of a wraparound maybe on the menu for the side of Empire. They've got Undying here as well, of course, with the Gyro. Bottom lane, just Ivan trading hits here with Tiny, forcing him back, and top lane the dive's going to come out. They're going to go for the kill into the tree line, looking for Mag. He will Firefly. That might actually be enough to get himself out of the way for the time being. Bottom lane, Tiny did find himself the kill onto Enigma. Decay will catch out Mag, but it looks like with a Firefly, this Batrider is going to be a little bit too elusive for the side of Empire to catch out. And all in all, well, it's just the kill on the bottom lane going for Vega, and Vega 3 for 1. Even though they're not finding the farm, and they're finding the kills.
Yeah, the handful of kills they have gotten are nice for them. It's starting to slow down though. Like, there's not as much lane rotation, so the Tiny's starting to catch up on CS. Like, he's got 26 now. This is probably like the best start any team has had against Empire today, as we say that.
Top lane. Again, Mag, he's just got the Firefly available again. He's going to be hard to catch out. There'll be a TP in as well to the tier 2 from Io, and Mag, he's going to be well out there. Maybe wants to turn this one around now with the sticky napalm, and of course the boosted speed from Io. They're going to be able to get the slow onto Loa does, but the cooldown came out. They were able to turn it around, find the Io. There'll be a nightmare from Seema onto Silent with the brain stab, and one more right click flying through from the back. Batrider, they find themselves a kill. Mag will lose his life as Aloha does, mans up on the Undying, finds himself a double kill in total with the Io and the back going down. And the rotation from the Magnus there to help pick off the Undying. Bottom lane, Avalanche and toss onto Ivan, but with the Eidolons and the Manifest, it's going to be too hard for Tiny to chase down. So kills being traded left, right, and center. 5 for 3 at the moment. Vega still maintaining their lead.
And they have a kill lead, but the game is more or less even. Like, no one's really getting a tremendous amount more than the other. I'm just really still... Did they need to lane the Enigma? Like, do they really need... I guess in the sense that... RP.
RP indeed onto Lich. There's the backup of the Tiny and the Io, and with the Avalanche and toss. That's your Lich going down, so... I mean, we talk about games where Tiny and Io don't have a great start and still end up winning. This game, arguably Tiny and Io, they've been finding the action.
Well, yeah, he's the highest CS on his team, and he has 2 kills, so no one is definitely getting the farm on, and that's good for his team. Like, he needs to be the one getting something, because during the mid game, he's pretty much their only frontliner. Like, he needs to be able to absorb some kind of damage, and if he goes blink, it could also be very impactful.
Might even find Undying here. Undying?
Yeah. No, he spotted him. He knows.
He's out there. And what level are we seeing Io on at the moment? How's he doing in terms of XP? Is he getting towards the 6? Yeah, he's halfway through level 5, so we're going to see Relocate online fairly shortly.
He's been involved in every single one of the team's kills, so yeah, he's actually quite over-leveled for such a bad start. Like, he went bottom, they didn't really get anything out of the lane, he transitioned, they get first blood, then he gets involved in 5 more kills after the fact. The most alarming thing is the fact that Silent is still #1 on farm as the offlane Gyro. I mean, 2 deaths, yeah, it's not super great, but he is still doing very well, and Resolution is shortly behind him. And I think during the mid game, the OD is very strong against Wisp in general, because you see Relocate, you can either like defensively banish to buy time, or you can banish the hard carry that gets tethered in with the Wisp, and then the Wisp is alone. And he can't really do much.
Seema the Slayer, he's going to find himself a Lich, Gyro, and of course the Undying are here on the bottom lane for the side of Empire. Vega, they've got the Tiny, the Io, and the Bane. Who's going to kick off the fight here? Silent coming in, of course, doesn't have any points in the homing missile. Going for that build we saw him do before, just the full-out barrage and the full-out flat cannon in terms of skill build.
This build is the one that we normally see. I think it's the homing missile build is more of like a solo 1v1 laner build, but this is more of just a general fighting kind of a style. Mid lane,
OD continuing to dominate against this Magnus, making life very hard here for 9 Pasha. I mean, 10 minutes in, he does have 1,200, 1,300 gold coming up. So he's going to find the Blink Dagger, but it's certainly not going to be any of this kind of 8-minute, magical Blink Dagger timing that we've come to expect to see from other Magnus players.
It's just a real big problem because Magnus, against most ranged heroes, he can usually find farm, but there are like a handful that give you such a problem that you can't maintain like perfect CSing. For example, like Queen, because her harass is so good, but OD actually just makes you so dumb that you can't use spells. Like you had 13 mana when we actually clicked on him a second ago, but yeah, not even having the mana shockwave at some points can be really, really bad for you. They are going to trade offlane towers though, so Vega get the tier 1 offlane, Empire also get a tier 1 offlane. Ah, here we go. Batrider Blink. This is a really good timing. They've only lost 1 tower right now. If they can get the mag blink in the next like minute or 2, which is pretty reasonable, I would say, you can start seeing some team fights break out, I think. And Vega could actually win them as well with that tiny burst damage and relocate on top of that. They have a lot of tanking potential, and it's going to spike up very heavily in action, I think.
Indeed, the tier 2 here on the bottom lane will fall here to the push of Empire. Now we'll see what the next plan of action is. Earnest Shadow's now picked up on your Undying. There's going to be a TP to the top lane from Gyro, who's going to look to continue to farm. And talking about continuing to farm, Resolution, that's pretty much been his priority all game. And on this OD, what kind of items have we seen him pick up so far? He's got the Staff of Wizardry. And with that in the back, is he going to go straight for the 4-staff? What's the plan here with the Staff?
4-staff, I think, is the item that most people think about. And yeah, it is going to be 4-staff. I thought he might buy the new shiny Atos because of its 5 intellect buff.
Yes, a little bit better for the.
It's okay situationally. Like the heroes on Vega don't have a lot of escapes. Lasso.
This is a good first lasso straight onto your gyrocopter with the Tiny and Io blowing him up. That is exactly what you want to see as soon as the bat gets his blink.
Yeah, but we spoke about it too. It's like once you get a blink up, once you get relocate, that's when the lineup of Vega really starts to become a nuisance for you, and you're going to start seeing Empire have to react to this style of aggressive play. And this is even without the use of Mag Blink as well. This is just Batrider. They have an invis mid here too. This could be nice.
Oh, RP is going to be onto Resolution. And, well, he's just going to throw the Astral down onto Magnus. Vega, they're still on the cliff here, looking to initiate. Tombstone's been dropped down. Do they want to try and fight into this one? Solo, he's getting low, and he will pop. He'll be the first to fall here. Seema Slayer trying to retreat, but the damage from OD is just too much. 4 stars forward. Finds himself a second kill. Now he's going to go onto the Tiny with the Astral holding him in place. There's going to be a cooldown as well onto this Tiny. He'll fall as well. 3 heroes to fall on the side of Vega. 9 Pasha will be able to keep his distance. But Draskell, I mean, an RP onto 1 hero, the rest of the team, and now they might lose to Magnus. What is going on here?
Yeah, he's dead.
So he's down, and well, what are Vega doing?
Well, at least he canceled the TP, because that would have been like the ultimate disaster play. I think what he wanted to do was RP him up onto the cliff, like near the Ancients, but he was actually way too far to do that. Like, I think he realized that after he RP'd, because his team was over there, right? Like, they placed an aggressive ward. Yeah. And if he could have skewered him up to the high ground, he could have potentially just died straight up. And there would have been no way that Empire could have reacted to that. But I think as soon as he RP'd, he's like, I actually have no one near me, and I can't skewer him the way that I want to, so I have to run.
And then they all tried to get near him via the tier 1 and via a tombstone.
I think it was just like miscalculating how far he could go, or maybe where his team was, I don't know. But it was very apparent as soon as he RP'd that there was no way that he was going to kill Resolution, like not even close. And he knew it too, he just started running. Just wasn't enough.
Well, that wasn't the best of fights, to say the least, there for Vega. But 7-7, they're still very much in the game. They are certainly falling behind in terms of net worth. Looking at the Gyro and the OD, 6.5k on your OD, 5.8 coming up in the Gyro. And overall, I mean, thanks to that one fight, it was fairly even. But now Empire, they're shooting up. It's about 3k in terms of XP, 4k in terms of gold. And now with your mech, and we might see the mech boots on Enigma this game. This might be the first Guardian Greaves that we've casted, Draskell.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best candidates to make it because he, like having mech and soul ring isn't really a bad thing on him because you need at least one person on your team typically who buys arcanes, and Aloha Dance seems to really favor treads when he plays Undying. So I think that mainly it's because of decay. Like just being able to hit harder is nice, and the attack speed in conjunction with the decay strength gives you some nice bonus damage. But yeah, we could see some Guardian Greaves.
Mid lane, they'll be able to find themselves a tier 1, and 9 Passion now with the Blink Dagger complete. So potentially we'll see the RP being a little bit more impactful next time round. And, it's all available for this top lane defense if they can get themselves in position there, Andy.
This is still a hard fight. Like even with everything that Vega have, you're gonna have to find a way to try to kill the Enigma or try to kill the Lich like straight away maybe. Because if you fight into them and you don't focus the Lich and you don't focus the Enigma, there's just...
He wants to do it. He wants to go with that blink. There we go! RP onto 3. Where's the follow-up? He gets Astral straight away. There's going to be a cooldown and a tombstone. They do manage to take down the Enigma, but they've lost the Magnus. They've lost the Io, the Tiny, the Bane falls as well. It's only Mag staying alive here. It's a 2-for-4 trade, and you could see it in the Magnus's eyes. He just wanted to go for that RP, and he went for it.
Silent just YOLO'd so hard. Oh wait, what? How did he die? What killed him?
Wait, who just... Oh.
No, I didn't say who killed him, I said what killed him. Oh, he was standing in Batrider fire. Yeah, okay. He didn't play World of Warcraft apparently. It's fine though, we forgive you. Yeah, that fight looked amazing actually at first for Vega, but I think he didn't turn his RP. So when he RP'd, he actually had to take the turn time to go to skewer, and then that time Resolution had time to react to banish him. And then even after that, there was still a chance I could have won the fight because the Chain Frost was huge. Like, they got a full bounce
good bounces
between everyone, but wasn't enough. And the damage output from Empire proves to be too great for Vega to deal with in that particular team fight. But yeah, it was really close to being the dream, and then it just wasn't at all.
It was, I mean, the RP looked nice. It was a nice 3-man RP, and I mean, Empire was so clumped up. I guess they just didn't know the Blink Dagger was on the Magnus, maybe.
Yeah, I think they had a pretty good idea. Yeah. Like around 15, 16 minutes in, if the mag doesn't have a blink, it's like, you'd be surprised.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. After playing so many games, especially like competitive matches, you just get a feeling for when heroes are going to have what items, because the timing is relatively consistent. There are very few games where somebody gets shut down so hard their blink gets delayed by like 10+ minutes. It's very rare that happens.
Well, mid lane, they're going to go for a bit of a push here, Empire. They're going to go for this tier 2 as a full 5-man, and they will indeed find it. What's the plan now? Do they want to keep it frosty and back up, or they're going to go for more?
They can just Rosh. There's like nothing really that... Well, Vega could fight around Rosh, and maybe with Bat and relocate it's a little bit scary. Depends on how confident they're feeling after winning that engagement. They could also just farm up the Guardian Greaves on the Yvonne, if that's the item he's going to go for. Just wait on that.
Oh, Bane. Oh, he's in the Radiant jungle here. They're not going to quite spot him out. Oh, the 4-star forward from Resolution, and Aloha does here as well. Bane in a little bit of spot above it. He is going to throw the Fiend's Grip onto Undying. There's going to be a relocating from Solar, but it's on his own. He didn't bring anybody. He's all here alone. Seema will try and TP out, but he will go down. And now Io. He's all alone here. He's going to be able to hide in the tree line and will be able to get himself back out of there, but looks like Tiny didn't want to join him for that one.
No, I think that was the right call too, not bring in the Tiny. Or maybe he just said that he didn't want to go and he just bailed.
Ooh, the cooldowns will catch on to Tiny. 4-star 4 from OD. He's going to be able to banish the Tiny. And Solo says, well, I'm out of here. Maybe retethers back in to try and help, but there's a black hole. I don't think there's any helping no one in this situation. And with the damage flying out from Resolution, they will be able to bring down the Tiny. Killing spree now for your Outworld Devourer.
And we heard a lasso as well. Who's it on? There we go. Silent. Cut up here on the hill. No TP. He is... Oh, he got 4-staffed.
Oh, but did he get 4-staffed the right way? That's the question. In between the Io and the Batrider, he's got the backup of Resolution. Resolution there with the Astral on to... Oh, Sanity's eclipse. The BM Sanity's eclipse there. Blowing up the Io. Why? I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I like about Empire in this game is they're not afraid to use their ultimates for solo kills because they realize that most of the time it's better to just use a skill to kill a hero than it is to wait it out and find an opportunity for like a 3 or 4-man black hole or a Sanity's Eclipse that hits everyone. Like those opportunities don't come around very often anyway. So it's better to just ensure that you get the kill, especially when those heroes being dead potentially means that you could get Rosh. And with OD, you're gonna kill it really fast.
He's straight into the Roche pit. He does have RP available, 9 Pasha, but they're not going to be able to get here quick enough as Roshan does indeed absolutely melt here to the side of Empire. Aegis to hit the deck and be picked up by the gyrocopter. And 14 to 10, 19.5 minutes in. Empire looking strong, but I feel like out of all the games that we've seen today, if there was ever one for a comeback to happen, this is the one. Yeah,
this is definitely the closest. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they can fight outside the base though. They can go to rat tactics. Like they can just go try to backdoor tier 1 bottom, for example, like the Tiny Wisp. They can relocate for that. And when the enemy team is pushing, of course, you have to wait for Empire to commit to something before you would try to do something like that. Because if you do it normally and ATP react or they're like already there, smoked or something, you just die. So.
I mean, Tiny, he has got Aghanims now. He's got enough money to finish it off. And I mean, Aghanim's Tiny with Empower. That's you got to be careful of that.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, but I still think he needs BKB. Like that's when he really starts to become a beast. Like right now, BKB stops all orb damage.
Oh, there we go. There we
Guardian
go.
Greaves.
Guardian Greaves it is for Ivan.
I thought for a minute he would actually go pipe, but the Undying bought the headdress, or Hooded Defiance rather. So he doesn't have to go for the pipe, and that leaves him open to buy the very, very potent Guardian Greaves. But yeah, as I was saying, BKB for Tiny is a necessity here. If he doesn't have it, he can still very easily just get annihilated in a team fight.
Oh, and here we go up to the high ground. Silent leading the charge. They're going to have to get everyone back here on the side of Vega for the fight. They need the RP. Where is it going to be? There's going to be a Nightmare holding Silent in place. The Skewer will actually remove it. 9 Pasha not happy with the positioning there of the Gyro. Wants him to back up anyway. Wants him to get closer to his buddies here for the RP that 9 Pasha's looking for. There we go, catches OD and Gyro. These are the two you want to find with the Avalanche and Toss. They'll be able to pop the Aegis on the Gyro, but in comes your Chain Frost, bouncing between the Tiny and the Bane. Bane will fall for the first out of this fight. That is your Bane down. They're looking for Mag with the orbs flying through from Resolution. So much damage, too much for Vega to withstand. 2 heroes down, and now with the Tombstone down, Vega, they just can't fight into this.
He hit so hard. He had DD and Orb and hit Mag for like a third of his HP. Just blew him up. Buybacks coming out from Vega.
Oh, but Ivan, 1 second and he's got Black Hole available. There was your Sanity's Eclipse. There's going to be a Barrett of Firefly onto Resolution. The Nightmare gets taken off him, and now trying to skewer back the OD. They will maybe, yes, they do bring him down. They've found themselves 1 kill here on the defense, but still the rest of the side of Empire focusing on these racks, looking to bring them down. They'll find the melee racks, and they'll probably even find the range racks as well on the way out here. Seamless going for, but he's walking the Midnight Pulse. He's taking a lot of damage, relocating from Tiny Eye. They find the Toss and Avalanche to defend, but there's your Black Hole holding the Tiny place, but they will be cancelled as he gets knocked out by the by the Batrider. They do find a kill on the back line onto the IO, but Gyro, he's getting low. 9 Pasha blinked forward. The Skewer's going to get juked here. The Skewer won't be juked, and Silent, he might be quick enough to get himself out of this one. Tries to get a little bit of lifesteal, and with the Rocket Barrage trying to fight up against 9 Pasha, there'll be a toss though as one final zombie lands on the head of the Gyrocopter, brings him down. But, well, they do lose the melee racks, but they find themselves 3 kills off the back of it.
Yeah, it was a lot closer in terms of exchange, though, of golden experience than I think Vega wanted. Like, they had to commit a lot to that, buying back 2 heroes, still not even defending your melee racks. That's not good enough. Like, you need to make better trades than that if you're going to buy back. Like, you need to buy back and wipe them. They committed so much just to killing Resolution. Like, they lassoed him, they skewered him pretty much to their well. Right?
Yes,
and
they got it as far back as they could.
And the Tiny was still almost dead at that point. And I think if Resolution had been able to auto-attack like even once, he would have probably gotten the kill before he died. But in the end, still Empire with a pretty huge lead here.
Yeah, I mean, 23 minutes now, and you've got your 4-staff and Cypher Vice on your OD. That's a lot of items.
That's what you call super farmed.
Yeah, and it's obviously mirrored as well on the Gyro. Both Gyro and OD sitting at the top, 11k gold on them at the moment. And Gyro with the Mithril Hammer now. And 900 gold away from the Ogre Club towards his imminent BKB. Now, well, they've obviously taken the mid. They're going to look for more. Empire grouping up as a 4-man, looking to push in this top lane. And I mean, yeah, just with the fact that the Undying's got the full-out pipe now, and on top of the Enigma's Guardian Greaves, it's going to be a tricky one. Magnus has decided to pick up the Glimmer Cape here.
I think it's pretty good against their heroes, actually. Like, you can use Glimmer Cape on the Tiny, for example. You can use it on yourself if you ever get, like, caught out. Like, Chain Frost is pretty spooky.
Tiny Eye, they go for the wrap. They find themselves a tier 2. Almost certainly have to get themselves back here for round 2. As Empire might want to kick this one off. Or maybe Tiny and I are going to try and force a reaction from Empire, as they may remain committed here on this bottom lane.
Yeah, Tiny kills the base pretty fast, actually. I think Empire are going to have to be the ones who TP onto this. First one back.
Oh, Sanity's Eclipse onto Mac, but it's not enough damage. Here we go, Tiny onto your Gyrocopter. Maybe you're going to be able to bring down Silent, and yeah, with the Fiend's Grip, nor the Pipe of Insight is enough, and they heals him back up there with the Undying Soul Rip. And no one to die here on the bottom lane. They did lose the bat up here. There's going to be a relocate in. But Resolution with the Astral onto Tiny. Oh, and Iron Patch evading the RP. He's looking for it. Almost certainly trying to use it onto OD to find the kill. The Lich there with the Ice Blast, meaning the Blink's going to be cancelled. For the time being, 4-star forward and a little Blink, a little bit of a stutter Blink there. Wasn't enough. Meanwhile, they did manage to find the kill onto the Bane, the Gyrocopter. And we did see Io just TPing himself out of there at the end of it. So, now I mean, at the side of Vega, they try and force a reaction, but they're not really able to achieve that much from it.
Well, the achievement is making sure that your base isn't dead.
Yes,
I mean, that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to delay the game. Tiny went for Yasha before BKB, so it's still going to take him a little while to get up to that point where he has magic immunity, but it does matter a lot for him. Like, just being able to stand in the team fight and just hit somebody. It's not like he doesn't deal damage, it's just that even with 2100 health, the kind of lineup that Empire has, OD, Gyrocopter, Rocket Barrage, like the Undying, Chain Frost, it eats through that health. Like, you absolutely need magic immunity against the 5-man of Empire.
Io, he's chilling up here on the zone at the moment. And just to the left of the trees, they're looking for him. Both the Lich and the Undying, although Hard doesn't always want to fly. You're not going to find him though solo. He hasn't got a TP, in fact. He does have a relocate. Are they going to come looking for him in the tree line here? No, looks like they're just going to be content in pushing the wave in on this top lane. And now Gyro, he's got a BKB on top of it all on himself, so he's going to be even harder for the side to fight up against. But I mean, at the same time, if Tiny gets himself in position and with a good few whacks, the Gyro is going to fall pretty quickly. And the Glimmer Cape is also being picked up by Enigma, so really being kind of the poster boy here for the 6.8 for Irons.
It's a really great item still. Like, on Intelligence Heroes more so than anyone else, because it does cost quite a bit of mana now, 130, comparative to 0. Pretty big increase there.
It's a bit of an increase there.
Decent.
Oh, here we go, Blink forward from Max, gonna find the Lasso onto Lohart, that's RP, onto 2, onto the Lich, and to the OD, can they bring down OD? No, he's kept alive for the Soul Rip, trying to turn around and fight. There's gonna be a cooldown coming down that will catch Solo, and no one could silent on the back of this fight, absolutely destroying the side of Vega. He's found himself a double kill with the Io and the Batrider going down. Tiny will fall as well as a triple kill as we get buyback from Tiny and Io. They have lost the Lich and the OD on the side of Empire, but with the Tombstone down, they're ready to stand their ground, Empire, and they're ready to go for round 2 here. Silent will get tossed up, though. The Rocket Barrage doing a fair bit. He's looking for the easier kill onto Solo, and the Black Hole holding back your Tiny. This is going to be a dieback on no one on the Tiny. He's down for 75 seconds. GG, well played is called, and well, today, what a whitewash it's been for the side of Empire. 4 victories, 2 against the side of basically Unknown, and now 2 against the side of Vega.
So, moral of the story, Empire, pretty good team.
Pretty good.
You know, it's funny because when we were going through the open qualifiers, we're like, yeah, you know, some of these teams are showing promise, and then Empire puts everything in perspective.
Pretty much, yes.
Like, we are still very good
one
tier
of the
1
best
team.
in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was really impressed with like every single draft that Empire put together. They've never really picked, I would say, completely meta heroes, if that makes sense. Like they know how to use them, but they also like to throw in a little bit of their own flavor. Like OD, for example, something that we almost never see, I think, and that's been the same for God knows how long, like a year, maybe even 2. Like TI3 around was when OD was picked a little bit more often, maybe a bit after. But either way, it was really fun to watch. I really like the way that they played it out. They always know when they can end the game, too. There's never any hesitation. It's like, okay, we get like 25 minutes. This is when our lineup is the strongest. We're going to go, and we're going to win.
Yeah, I mean, you never kind of feel, oh, they could be pushing now, but they're just going to hang back and farm. They just go for it. And it's very entertaining to watch.
It could be the patch, too, though.
It could be. Maybe we'll see other teams like that come out with a similar kind of play style, because obviously a lot of people talk about the fact that the early game is more impactful and the fact that the snowball is more prevalent than it was in 6.83.
Yeah, it
so we might see more kind of stuff that I like is happening, but at the same time, you are getting the skirmishes like in that game where Vega did come out for a short period of time. It's like, okay, you know, we've got a bit of a fight on our hands, but yeah, at the end of the day, the skill from Empire, and as you said, the draft as well, proving to be a little bit too much for the sides we've seen go against them. And well, that's it for games today from myself and Draskell. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a bit more action. I believe we're seeing Empire again. I believe the first match is Empire versus Na'Vi, so that'll that'll be interesting to see how Na'Vi can stand up against this play style. But anyway, we'll be going to a quick commercial break, and then of course back to our hosts as they'll be able to talk you through the action that we've just seen firsthand. But from myself and Draskell, have a good night. We'll see you guys about.